And we are live. Good afternoon, good evening, Tom.
Yes, late evening. And I'm going to get my dinner after this, and it'll be 11 p.m.
Thank you so much for working around our schedules here in California. I guess we also have to work around your busy social life. So, did you do any iterations since Ernest did his edits, Tom, or should we just start with where he left off?
Oh, I don't recall getting Ernest's edit and working on it. Did I get it? Did you send it to me and I missed it, or what?
I sent you a text. I guess you didn't get it. An iMessage.
When did you send it to me?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Mm.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to think whether I forgot I got it or I got it. Okay.
I think you sent it on a side chat, so I didn't see it either way.
Yeah.
Did you send it by email or chat?
Chat.
Chat. Okay,
Yeah, it
that's
wasn't our
not
group
a good
chat. It wasn't like our group chat.
group chat. Do you mean
Well,
like
it was not in the group. It was not in the iMessage thread with the three of us.
iMessage?
Oh yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, I guess in the future, I remember that it's better to, for more reliable delivery. It's better to send it.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Okay. Email is good for me, and
Okay.
I think I don't. There's something. I got a yes. Okay. So I've got something from Ernie on my chat, but it doesn't give me any stuff from Ernest.
Well,
okay. I don't have any stuff from Ernest that I can see.
Okay, so maybe I got lost in the...
send it now to my email. That'll solve that problem for the moment.
Okay.
Right. So I think maybe as long as we're all here, maybe Ernest could just walk us through his
That's fine.
pages, and then we'll take the homework item to kind of do a pass for next week.
Okay. I didn't do edits, but I did comments. I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to actually make a change.
Interesting. I want. Do you want to bring it up on your screen and we can walk through that?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I was not prepared for that. So let me have to go to the email. Okay, while I do this, yeah, I just made comments, and the major one is with the permissionless innovation. That term kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and then I did a search on it, and I internet search, Google, of course, and I found out that there's a book. There's an actual book that, at least that was the first result. There's a book that deals with that. But in our definition, we have...
Ernest, do you have it on your screen? You want to share it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. I don't have a screen either.
Okay. Share screen. This one.
I did get your link, Ernie. I brought it up.
Okay.
Okay. We're there, right? Okay. We're in ValPlan. Okay.
Anyone can view, fork, and improve upon the work we are doing.
Right.
Okay. So here's my comment.
Okay. Good place to do
it. Everything works fine until we are the ones that are getting the improvements, because if they can fork, they can base their work on what we are doing, but when we get upstream improvements, it says right here that we are it has to be approved by us, right? I look at the position changes back upstream to the, actually they submit their improvements to the committee. So, I guess that the idea behind that is that we accept or deny the improvements based on all kinds of things, compatibility, correctness, all that stuff. So that's not permissionless because we effectively work as grant permission of not for that improvement to enter our project. So in that case, that term permissionless innovation doesn't work because our definitions are conflicting. So from people can use our work and they can fork it and all that stuff, but people can submit their changes to the committee, but we are like a gatekeeper and we will decide whether or not it will go in. So that doesn't sound to me as permissionless when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to people contributing to this work. It might be in some respects, but it's not pure.
Yeah, I'm sure we can fix that with an edit once you've spotted it. Yeah,
well, let me highlight the one solution that I suggested is to actually split this stuff. Permissionless being as in going out, forking and doing improvements. But when it comes to accepting changes ourselves, it needs to be something else. I don't know what the term would be, but I think this should be two objectives, not just one. That's the whole.
But I'm almost just joking, but we could put in the term self-permissioning.
Right, but I think so this is interesting. Originally I was thinking that it's worth calling, but I think there are two different things going on here. One is that if nobody interacts with us, they can fork it and publish it and do all sorts of amazing things. And that's an important value in and of itself, right? Is that we don't want to become the deadlock. On the other hand, it probably is worth talking about and perhaps formalizing a different thing, which is that we want to be I'm not sure what the word is. This is good, trying to figure out the right word for this, right? We want to be a evolving community ourselves. We want our project to not be just limited to the good ideas the three of us have. We want it to be something that is incorporating the best ideas out there into something under the Datocracy brand that is better at accomplishing our goals than is possible for us. And maybe there's let me label that as collaborative innovation, as a sort of counterpoint to the permissionless innovation side of it. And I don't know, again, if this is still one thing or two things, but at least have a label to stick on it as a starting point. Does that feel like it captures the other part of it that the word permissionless did not, Ernest?
Yeah, everybody collaborates to improve specifically our, this project. People outside the project can collaborate with us to incorporate their changes into the project. And yeah, I think now I kind of see it as the opposite problem, but I don't know. We have to go to reach compromise somewhere, because now I see it as it's just looking inside us, not outside of the project. But I think it's an acceptable compromise because we have the definition right here. So that's the whole point. And we use phrase, but then we include what we mean by that. And as long as we're not conflicting and the whatever subpoints and subterms agree with the main term, then I think it's okay.
Well, and we could, change the title, right, to literally just being both collaborative and permissionless innovation.
Yeah.
Right. That is a that would be a bit of a hack, but it would work.
Mm.
And
Is that something, Tom, that you?
Yeah,
is that a good
I
use
would
of your-
say that's fine. You know, do a hack and move on, because we got to cover so much territory here. We don't want to perfect. We don't need to perfect it or optimize it.
right. Okay, so let's figure out to make sure you can edit this document because you got stuck there last time, right? So go up to the top of this
Yeah.
page where it says viewing,
Viewing.
down 1 inch, down 1 inch,
Down.
left 2 inches, or
Up,
yeah,
up.
up. See where the word says viewing, right? By glib guest, up 2 lines, right there.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
And then just, you can type
Now I can even do it right here.
permissionless.
And
Yeah.
collaborative.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Is there a way to mark a comment as resolved?
Yes.
Okay. So let me press on the disk here to save that.
Yep.
And my comment is this one.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you can. The simplest thing is just in bold letters, write resolved. Put a date on it in the first part of it. That's clear enough. I think there's no other. Yeah, right there. That's it. Resolved.
Like that.
1119 or something. Yeah.
Clear and simple.
Yeah.
11. No.
The reason there's not a formal resolution thing there is that comments are not only about issues that need resolution. I actually use the term issue, which you will find as a parameter.
I was thinking of a bug reporting system.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
and issues get resolved, but comments are just comments. But it's okay. I mean, it's fine. It's simple and correct.
Is there an error there? Why is it triangling us?
I don't know what that is. Every time I make a,
It's a question mark. Does it show you?
Well,
does the question mark tell you anything?
Yeah, I have no idea. Click to see more help.
Oh, and that thing.
Oh, what you see.
Because the bracket is the bracket a special character, so it's messing it up.
You know,
no. Okay, come on.
I don't know, but
it might be because we use brackets elsewhere in the text.
But any comment that I say,
that's right. That's right. The square brackets is probably a bad idea.
Just use parentheses instead.
Because it is for defining things and
get out of this.
You have to get the close button in the upper right, I think, to get out of the help.
Upper right, close.
Far upper right.
Upper right. Oh,
all the way upper right.
Very right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I think the square brackets were confusing and thinking, aha, he wants to define the term resolved.
I bet you that is not going to solve it because.
Well, you haven't removed.
See? I did.
You have another bracket in there.
There's another bracket there. That's even worse.
Unmatched parentheses.
Okay. There's no bracket. It's just resolve.
Okay, now save it.
And the date, right? There's no bracket.
Okay. Now if you save it, it still complains.
I still get that. And I don't know what it is. Any comment that I say, that happens.
Maybe you've done something, but I would ignore it.
Okay. All right. So I did another one in the other.
No. So at the bottom, you had another comment. Let's just deal with that one real quick while we're here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have a, with internet. Yes. So you mentioned that people should get to do this project through an internet search. And I'm like, no, there should be just one version of this project. There can be copies or all over the place, but there should be one that is controlled by our system, so that it's, it is what we talked about, is recorded, we can record in every version of this thing that, if somebody forks it, right? They could find that and they would think that that's the project. Well, there's just one project. So instead, I suggest that we provide a URL, something and a specific address, not do an internet search. You don't know what the internet search is going to.
Okay, so I think there's a couple of different things that are like, one is that like the word search was meant in the generic sense. Would you be okay with the term discoverable on the internet?
Okay.
Or findable? Because they'd be like, giving them a URL means that they can find it on the internet. It doesn't necessarily mean having to do, quote unquote, like a Google search for it.
Right. I agree with you, Ernie.
So the words findable or discoverable, do either of those?
Yeah.
Where we are the sole entity.
Well, okay, so there's 2 points there. One is about search versus like going to a well-known URL. The other point is that I think we have agreed that people have the right to fork. And I don't want to like take away the right to fork.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that access to our documents and artifacts in live and searchable ways.
I just meant discoverable. It means that they can find it on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I meant by the word searchable. I didn't mean like it had to be a Google search. Yeah, typing in a domain name for Datocracy and getting this website counts. That's what I intended.
Okay. Accessible?
Yes.
Sure.
In my mind.
Accessible is fine.
Accessible.
All right.
So you have to go back into.
Now I'm gonna go. Okay, now how do I do that?
Oh, is it stuck? Is it upset? Try refreshing the page just to see if that clears the error.
Okay, where am I?
You have to click on ambition level, I think.
Yeah, open the ambition level window.
Okay.
Just click. There you go.
And then click on view.
Oh.
Because they probably defined that as a top level term. So you have to just click on the hyperlink for view. There we go. Accessible.
Access of documents and artifacts via the internet, through the internet, in the internet. Because we have, we have access already. So access our documents.
Or just say documents artifacts via the internet. Sure.
Okay. Via the internet. Yeah, like that.
Works. Okay. You have to click share or it's just save. Okay. All right. That one would let you edit. Yay.
Now, let me go back. That's the only way I can navigate this.
And click on the development process objectives and get to the whole list.
The quantified engineering. Okay, what is that? Quantified engineering. Did I click on the right one? Okay. Oh, that was just see this. Anyway, we need the word be somewhere to final. No, define. Okay, but it will ultimately be.
We go to auto authoring mode.
Okay. There. So the final approved objectives and strategies will ultimately be specified with, and we go. I think that was the only one there.
Okay, so it was just a typo. And now you know how to fix it yourself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Does that mean that you actually read the other ones and didn't discover any issues?
Yeah. because this is like the root. Like this, we started from this. It seems like we built from this one to the other one, and I didn't find any tamper proof. I didn't have a problem with that. Yeah. Yeah, everything is fine.
Okay, at this point in time, is there anything missing or anything that it struck you that we're not addressing that is important to capture?
When it comes to the value objectives,
Yeah,
developing process objectives. Transparency.
By the way, just a remark, if you have some immediate stuff, we do it, but as I've quoted Musk in a paper I've written called Musk Methods, can share it if you want. He said, assume all requirements are wrong, no matter who or how smart the person is who says, okay, so that's a good assumption here. Now, what I've found is that at a certain point, it pays off to declare them to be a reasonable first draft, and then to start using them, which means deriving strategies for them. And then by that work process, you will discover objectives that are missing or badly formulated. In other words, the best way to deal with them is to move on and not try to say, are they perfect now before we move on? Because you're never going to get there anyway.
No, yeah, I just wanted to take a minute because Ernest has been
of course
these things to see
and
if he
that's why I
has.
said,
But, I'm happy for us to move on. I just want to take at least 1 minute to see if he had any thoughts.
Yeah, and I included that in what I said. If we can fix it now, fine. Otherwise, move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is what we've talked about: transparency, tamper-proof, exactness, and permissionless and collaborative. I think these are very good foundational objectives.
Right. I realize there is one that's come up with me, ironically, as I've been working with Anish. Anish was doing the previous Datocracy series with us, and we actually just signed a proof of contract with his company, Quilt Data, with my employer to build out a business data system. And one of the big challenges we wrestle with is whether to use sort of a vertically integrated proprietary tool or an open ecosystem. And because there's different trade-offs in terms of short-term utility versus long-term ownership and control. And so the one point that we have talked about in the past that's not included here is probably what I would call communal infrastructure, which is the idea that ultimately you want the community that is using these tools to make decisions to own the infrastructure so it can make better decisions. I don't think we need to derail our conversation now. I think we can mark this and go on. I will take an action item to write it up on the side because I don't think it's a critical factor in any of this. But I just wanted to capture that so I didn't forget it.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
I'll just write down my notes so I don't forget them, but we can continue on. All right. So let's just sort of stipulate that these are good enough for now, Tom. What would you suggest as the next step?
Okay. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to send you the Musk Methods paper, which is fun, I think. And RNIENERNEST. There we go. On its way. Okay. Yeah. So where are we? Right. Let's see. What we got? We've got a lot of. Oh. Okay.
I'm just taking notes on the side. Keep going.
Yeah, Datocracy committee in earnest. Are we on?
Do you want to share your screen? Would that be?
Yeah. I do actually. That's good. This
Mixed
moment,
up my-
I thought I was.
Chris,
this
you can
is
start.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom. Okay. Start screen. Brave browser ValPlan looks like a good place. You can now see my screen, right? And okay, is that the right screen? Because I've got I'm on Datocracy. The project is Datocracy Committee in Earnest, right?
Mm.
Okay, not Datocracy Architecture. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so in simple terms, let's see, what do we have? We have some solutions. What I'm looking for is, have we done the solutions at all? Datocracy, just see what we got here. We got blank solutions, which is not totally blank, because maybe I copied from something I did earlier. I'm just taking a quick look at what we've got. Okay. Yeah, but so after a draft of these, we need to start working on solutions. And one way of doing that is not to go to the solutions. We do have a skeleton of them anyway, but to go to tables. And so I've gone to tables, and we're going to create a decision table, and we're going to call it let's see, strategy analysis table. And this is critical objectives, right? Critical objectives versus top strategies or something like that. We can, if that's not entirely true, we can. Okay, so I've just created a blank table, and then I'm going to build the table, add existing value row, and then let's see, maybe you can hide thumbnail video, silly things. Okay, so can somebody read out to me some of the objectives that we just worked on, the names of them?
Like transparency.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, so here,
innovation.
now,
Yeah.
let's see. We have, okay, transparency, right? Okay, and then good enough. Okay, so just I'm going to build the things we want in the table. We don't have to. I forget how many we have, but okay, strategy analysis. Oh, I already have a table there. I thought I looked at the table, it was blank last
Yeah,
time I
it was
looked.
blank.
So apparently we have a table.
Oh.
Is
This
this?
is from a previous project. I think this is more societal level rather than committee level values.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. So that's fine. Tables. We'll go back to our tables and add existing. So it. Okay. Feed me another name that we want on the table.
Innovation.
Okay. EFH. I can't find it under that name here for whatever reason.
Permissionless and collaborative innovation was the formal name.
What was the first word?
You go down like 10
halfway,
rows.
right up to.
Up, down to, there you go.
Oh, permissionless and collaborative, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and actually the one that we had was actually transparency of the Datocracy development process. Like we're gonna add the,
right. Okay. Well, let's go get that. And it says transparency development history.
Down to
transparency. Yeah, we have
down
that.
One more. Yes.
Oh, you know what? I can't go one more because I've got a little window blocking it.
Oh no, is the next to last one. There you go.
There we go.
I got it. I had a window blocking it from Zoom.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Okay.
Yes.
So we get rid of this transparency here, this first one.
Yeah.
For the moment, just noise. Okay.
And
now,
unanimous committee agreement is at the very bottom where you can't see it either.
Would you like that in there now
Let's go and
too?
add all 5 of them while we're here. Sure.
Okay, keep naming them.
So at the very, very
Unanimous
bottom.
Committee
Yep.
agreement. Okay.
And then tamper-proof development history.
Just a moment.
Sorry.
I should have told you what I did, but I made a choice of which wish level
Oh, okay.
we're going to work with.
Cool.
I should have done that slower motion, but don't worry about it for the moment. And then add existing value row name.
Tamper-proof development history, right before transparency.
Yep.
And then that leaves quantified engineering rigor.
Okay. Okay.
We are definitely favoring the last third of the alphabet here.
Okay. Did I hear quantified?
Quantified, yep. Right between qualities and relationships.
There it is. Right. Okay. Good. Okay. So we have our 5 wishes.
Mhm.
They when it says 0 and 0, I got a feeling like we need to probably do some more work, and with the scale, there should be some real numbers in there.
So can you take a step back and explain what this table is?
Okay. Well, since I was gonna, okay, I'll take a step back, but I was gonna explain it as I do it.
Okay.
It's called, I call it an impact estimation table, although my son talked me into using value decision table. So you'll find both things there. See, it says value decision tables there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are our values, and we're going to make some decisions about how good our strategies are for reaching the values. And you'll find this a very interesting exercise in making us think about what we're doing and keeping us straight. So in other words, it's a way of evaluating to what degree do we have good enough strategies to reach our goals.
Great. And just so I understand, we have not written down any strategies yet, have we?
No. Well, here, now I could add an existing solution. We're calling solutions there, right?
Okay.
And all the ones with light bulbs are formal solutions. So we'll stick to those for the moment.
And these are things
So
that you've developed over the history of Datocracy.
Have we written down any? Because if we haven't, we can either pick one here that we know we want, or we can create a new one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You see anything there with a light bulb that you say, I want to do that one? Or you say, no, I want to do one that I'm thinking of that isn't on that list.
Well, certainly Datocracy system development, it seems like a thing that we are sort of doing, or we are leveraging what somebody else has done. I don't know if that's the Datocrat software or.
But we can take a look at it.
Okay.
Just put it in there. Okay. So there it is. It's maybe one that I did earlier.
Mhm.
Now, okay. So, hide this.
I mean, the one we're literally doing now is we are using ValPlan to document Datocracy.
Yep.
And that is a thing that we are doing.
Right. Okay. Now this.
Should we create a new one for that, or should we tweak this to be that?
Well, no. Let's do a new one. That's fine. We go back to the table, and we'll get rid of that. We can go back to those when we need ideas. But let's see.
But yeah, it is good as a inspiration for things we could do.
That. Okay, so add a new solution idea, right?
Okay.
So here, what would you like to call that solution?
Just using ValPlan to document Datocracy.
Okay.
Lost the cursor there. I assume you're typing somewhere.
Sorry. Yeah, I did lose it for whatever reason.
Well, the X seems to close it rather than clear it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It's not being nice to me for whatever reason.
Can you just type over it without selecting?
Okay,
Does that make any difference?
Oh,
there we go.
Go over here.
Even better.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
So I am a little bit lost. So we were.
It's okay. Hang in there. to to plan Datocracy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think the idea is that let's just start with the things we're already doing, the strategies that we're using, and then match them up against our values. Like, so another one is, recording conversations live on YouTube, for example. But anyway, sorry, I'll let you finish this one.
Right. Okay. And but that wouldn't be well, maybe
right, that'd be a different solution. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, by the way, so I took the tag, which is kind of long, and I just copied it into the summary because that's good enough as a summary. Okay.
Yep.
Now, the description, I have two options at this point. I can write a list of stuff we do there in the description, and that's fine. But I could also go here and decompose it to the different things we're doing as sort of separate digital specifications. And we do that when each one of those is a fairly big thing that we want to manage separately. Do you have any instantaneous feeling for which way you want to go? If in doubt, just write it down in the description and we can do the other thing later.
Yeah, my goal is to try and let's see if we can get like 3 or 4 strategies in place just so we get a sense for what they are before we drill down too much.
I have a little tradition here I call D1 for design 1. And so what's the first thing we do?
The first thing that we did was write down value objectives, and the second thing we're doing is filling out this table.
Write down value objectives for Datocracy. Design 2.
It was, I think, populate decision table and strategies.
Okay, yeah. Fine. And D3. Now D3 is the exciting part, turns out, estimate how good our strategies will be. Actually, I'll put down cost effectiveness and effective. My screen's so small I can't see the lettering here.
ESS is missing there. Type it blind if you want.
ESS, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it gives some forward vision, it would we would decompose to small implementable delivery steps. Delivery, I sometimes, maybe I should do it here, STEPS, and that is stakeholder value delivery steps. In other words, the fourth step says take any big idea, strategy you have that might take a year or 10 years to implement and chop it up into things like weekly increments. And then you are going to ask ourselves, is there something of this chopped up stuff that's so small and simple that we could implement it first thing in the coming week or month? And if the answer to that is yes, then the answer is do it. And then you're starting, at that point, you will start to get forward motion towards your goals, and you'll get feedback and learning whether you're doing anything sane at all. You'll even get information like, are our values any good, and do we have a good way of measuring them in practice? Things like that.
Yeah, you seem to put the initial D in front of stakeholder instead of delivery. I don't know if you can see that on your screen.
Now I see. Yeah, just barely. Let's see if I enlarged it on my screen a little.
Good.
I have my new Mac Pro.
Oh, the resolution is so high, the font size becomes really small.
Yeah, I can make it as big as I want, but it wasn't big enough. Okay, implemental stakeholder value delivery. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now that's good enough outline for the description. Okay, so let's go to step. Actually, I've written down. Sorry, I've populated with one strategy. This one, and that's good enough to show you what happens with the strategy and what we do, and then we can populate with as many strategies as we need to. And need to is defined as need to so that we have a good chance of reaching the objectives.
Right.
Okay? So, but let's just do the first one because you get a feel for this right away. Now, we have a let's see, we have a problem here that we haven't actually decided on our wish level. So we really have to go and put in a wish on a scale. Okay, and we didn't really finish off the scale, right? So I'm going to go in and just quickly and brutally fix it. Okay, so I mean, you know, okay. So scale, anyone can view, and okay. So that is percentage of participants of participant type, you know, using and then you know, with content type. Okay, so we have a participant type, right? Okay, so now I can put the status as 0 today. I'm just going to take no, I think I won't. I will do this a little bit more deeply. Here, of all the participants, what is the most critical participant to deal with first?
Datocracy committee.
Right, okay. Now, and you'll see a repetitive pattern here. What is the participation type that is the most critical to deal with first?
Let's go with the value. Interesting. I'm actually torn between valuable contribution and divergent perspective, but I think we'll go with valuable for now.
Okay, now here's the nice good news. You can have both.
Okay.
Just to illustrate that, okay? Now notice there's an all or none category here too, but I'm going to ask you the same question. Which usage model is the most critical to deal with first?
I'm okay just going with all for now. I don't really.
That's okay. And then what content type is the most critical to go with first?
I guess the ValPlan project plan and video.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now, by the way,
sorry, Ernest, were you trying to say something?
In sound, do we have a?
We do have a podcast. That's true. We are not really using it this sprint, but
it's not there, so we'd have to add it, and we can add it. But let's not worry. Take a note of it, but to not use time on that. Let's, because I want to get through this thing here. Let's just leave it that way. Now I'm going to do another thing. Let's see. No, I won't do it there. Okay. Okay. So what we have here, and we actually have a little summary of it here. Here's our base for these critical things. Okay, so that's our starting point. Now our wish, I'm going to put a little tag on this. This is most critical initial, let's call it a slice for the moment, and I'll explain that. Okay. Now, see, it says copy from, and I'm just going to make a copy of what we did, meaning exactly the same set, which is good. And then I'm going to put an arbitrary number in here for our discussion. And I'm going to put a date in here. I'll put, let's just say 1 year from now, just for the sake of argument. Okay. So what this is saying, and these are just straw men, that 1 year from now, for this set of critical things, I hope we have 42% participation for the Datocracy committee, all usages, these two participation types and content. Now, you might push back and say, Tom, we should have that much earlier. Okay. So just for fun, I'm gonna put a much earlier date in there. If somebody pushes back, I would say, what date are you thinking of? And then somebody might say, Tom, if it's just us in the Datocracy committee, you know, we should have cracked this much better. We should have like 90%. Okay. Just, you know, imagine we have this dialogue. Okay. So here's the thing. What we're doing is we're trying to make up our minds what degree of effectiveness we're going to have within a certain time frame for this slice. Now, notice this is a slice of the action. Now, I'm going to stop talking and let you comment. Do you think you understand what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting, like, because I feel like, you know, actually, I think we're pretty good in, like, now that we've got Ernest trained on how to author documents in ValPlan, I feel like the Datocracy committee, like any of us can walk up and start editing and changing things, and we can make a contribution. And ValPlan allows us to do that. I guess that's the strategy we're currently using. We're not necessarily rating the strategies yet.
Right.
Okay.
Now, let me, I'm intentionally interrupting to save time and squeeze more into the day here. Let's assume that we had a half an hour conversation and agreed that this was okay.
Yeah.
Assume that. We can change it anytime we like. Let's go back to our table. And my point was that I couldn't, if I didn't decide what I wanted to do, and now I have decided what I want to do, you know, very much more exactly when and how much and what critical things, then I can't ask the simple question, how effective is this going to be in doing an undefined thing? That's a silly question.
Yeah, no, actually,
Now that I have a clear idea, by the way, I've also demonstrated one way of decomposing our problems so we get short-term things we can get going with. Using those parameters in that way to define these things, that is in fact a method of decomposition. There are more. Okay, now I'm going to do another straw man here. I'm going to put in my favorite
you Douglas Adams fan?
Yeah, you got it. I've even been to his grave, which is 10 walking steps from Karl Marx's grave in Highgate Cemetery in London.
Wow. That's interesting. I wonder if either of them are offended by that.
Now, by the way, I even have a t-shirt, which I have on some of my book covers. I could pull it out now, but I won't use the time, that my Polish friends have given me that says the answer to any question in the universe, etc., is 42. On my book covers, that's how. Anyway, right. Now, so 42. 42 means this is an estimate. You see, there's a little increment sign, the triangle, right? So 42 is my estimate that I will move from 0 to 42 on my way to 90. Okay, now that turns out to be 47% of the way to 90.
Sorry, is that what our current status is, or what we believe the strategy will get us to?
We set to 0, right? Status 0.
I see.
But we have now an ambition to move to 90, and the question is, how much is this going to help us? And and by the way, if the answer is 0, then we shouldn't be doing this for that purpose. It gives us nothing, right? So by definition, we have to have some belief that doing this will help us, however little, you know, but it has to be a non-zero positive number.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just putting 42 in there to start the discussion.
Okay, so, yeah, okay. A number between 1 and 100, I assume.
Well, we can experiment, you know. So what happens if I put 142? And
okay, you can actually, you can exceed.
Yeah, I get 58% more than I need. Let's do another similar experiment. I'm going to put minus 42. In other words, it has a negative side effect. And
Okay,
I
so
get a
it'll show
little
it.
red symbol saying, hey,
Oh,
you're
beautiful.
going backwards from where you already were. That's a pretty stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
This is engineering. It's called analyzing for negative side effects and for cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
And this is kind of fun. Okay, so now, but let's go back to a slightly real. Now, by the way, by clicking on this, I also opened the detailed window for this. And so, well, I'll go back and I'll change it to 42 for the moment. I'll also ask myself, well, 42, could it be lower? Could it be higher? I'm just going to put an arbitrary number in there called 20. But what I'm saying is it could be as low as 22 and it could be as high as 62, right?
So the expected variance. Yeah.
I'm specifying a range.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And this is called the uncertainty range.
Okay.
Right. Now, by the way, I'm going to realizing we haven't got much more time left. I'm going to short circuit to get you interested. Now, what if I would at this point ask anybody who I had asked to put a number in that said, let's say you'd put it in, and I'd say, how do you know you're going to get to 42? Now, I happen to be an expert on using ValPlan to do stuff, so you can ask me. And I would say, I, Tom G, have done this 100 times. That's my evidence. That's pretty good evidence. And the source is Tom Gilb, who should know about such things. So then we have a credibility thing. Now, 0 means wild guess, no credibility. And 1 means it's absolutely guaranteed in our particular case to work this way. And the evidence I've given is somewhere in the middle.
Something about in-house, like I saw this one like an in-house measurement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Well, I've done it externally with a lot of my different clients. But
no, I thought one of the options down there was.
Yeah, that's right. There is something about in-house.
Have used the same design. Go back one more.
Yeah, but there's in-house, and
the one before that was have used the same design strategy previously in our organization.
Yeah,
that seems exactly right.
Right. Now, it doesn't matter. You can study these later. They're published and they're here. You can, but the point is, by giving evidence and source, we can then rate the credibility
of that estimate. Yeah.
And by the way, if I go to the settings here and I click on show the uncertainty, show the credibility, and even show the scale, I'm adding some more detail, show the sum, just showing you that there in fact is a thing called, my simple table becomes a little bit nastier, but I do have a little bit more of the scale in there. And I do have the 0.6, which is modifying my 42 and scaling it down. But basically, if I had a 1 there, I'd keep my 42. If I have 0, then 42 times 0 is worth nothing. And this is somewhere in between. What I'm doing is I'm reducing people's optimism with the facts about the credibility. Okay. And then we have plus or minus 22, the 20 is here. So I've actually got I've calculated the more realistic number, including By the way, the sum is 42. Now, by the way, the rule is if all of my strategies add up to 100%, then in theory, I've got enough strategies to reach 100% of my goal. Right? The red means you aren't there yet and you don't have enough strategies. That's a computed warning signal.
Okay, and this is where ValPlan really shines, going beyond just being like a wiki documentation tool to actually being a analytical, rigorous quantification.
Yep. Now, but notice if I do something dramatic here, like rate it at 222. Okay. Then my sum would be this, and it turns green. Now, the reason it turns green is I've actually got a safety margin. It's in the settings, by the way, you can reset it, but the default safety margin is 200%. I am demanding, and this is good engineering practice. They use this to build bridges, right? Safety factor 1.8. for aluminium bridges. In other words, you design it to tolerate 180% of the rated load, so that if things go wrong, at least it will hold 100%. So that's called a safety margin. And okay, but green means, hey, I've beat the safety margin, whatever the hell it is, and I'm cool. I don't need any other design. Got it?
Yeah. No, this is really good. This is the first time I've actually really sort of said, now I can see how the tooling behind the scenes of ValPlan doesn't just help us structure our thinking, but it actually pushes us, like, it seems like actually it's sort of perversely, it's going to be low on the permissionless innovation piece, but really high in the quantified engineering rigor piece.
Yeah. Now let me do one very quick add here. I'm going to add a new let's see if I've got any. Yeah, I'm going to add an economic factor here. Time resources. Okay, and I'm going to give myself I have to. Okay, but it'll add it in there. Okay, here it comes down, time resources, and I have to have a budget. So I'll just quickly give myself a budget of 100 and not worry too much about scales and stuff like that, because we're just in a hurry here. Okay, we'll go back to the table. And now I'm going to ask a very simple question. What percentage, let's just say we're going to accomplish this within 10 years. And I say, what fraction of our time, our 10 years are we going to use to do this? Now I'm going to, what happened? Did I lose my
your cursor?
Yeah, I want to, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put 10, okay, meaning 10% of that budget. Okay. And so you can see it's 10%. Now notice what it's done. It's done a value to cost computation. Here's the value. Now, of course, I haven't filled in the other values, but when I fill them in, we're going to sum them up right here, right? For the moment, we regard these as 0. Okay. Since we already have something here, I can just take a random number to show that fact of addition there. Okay, so it's there. So I've actually computed a value to cost ratio. In other words, 90 over 10 is 9, right? By the way, I've also computed the worst case and the credibility and the combination of the two. We don't have time to go into that, but this is examining risk and uncertainty. Okay. Now, if I put a number of strategies here, I can rank them. In fact, automatically, I can say, tell me what the best strategy is. And in very simple terms, it's the one that gives us the best bang for the buck. And that is the strategy we need to prioritize and do early, because that way we get more value from our project. See where we're going?
Yeah.
And by the way, there are cute little things like value and cost tables, automatic. And you can get more strategies, you get more stuff there. Okay, that's we sort of ran out of time, but we accomplished bringing you to this point where you see where we're going. In other words, if we have clear, if we have clear goals, then we can make clearer estimates, decisions, and arguments for any strategy. And then by looking at how good the strategies are and all of our values and all of our costs, we can determine which strategies we should prioritize and do first. End of my lecture.
All right. Okay, so to wrap things up, this was fascinating. I learned a lot, and this is actually really exciting to see how this plays out.
May I remind you, you can read about these things in my books under like impact estimation table in the competitive engineering book.
Sure, but there's nothing like seeing it used in anger on something you care about to make it stick in your brain.
I
so
know,
this is good.
I know.
Yeah, so this is way helpful, and hopefully a great, if you need to point other people who are looking at this tool, this is actually a great demonstration. So Do you have time this next week to take a run at reviewing the objectives and maybe filling out more of the table, Tom?
Of course. I just need a, by the way, if you send a signal and you don't get a response within 10 hours, I didn't get that signal. I'm looking at everything, but email is what I'm always looking at, and iMessages might disappear.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
email's the only safe, but you should get a response like, got it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And if you
And I
don't
will,
get that, call
yeah.
me up and say, Tom, did you get our message? We're ready for your review.
Yeah, but that's fine. This gave us a good leg up on some new stuff. And
Yeah.
I will try and write up my one additional value objective. And if I'm really brave, add it to the table for you to review. And I will post to the list when that's done so you can see it. And so yeah, next week is Thanksgiving here in the US. Probably doesn't affect you as much.
Not at all.
In Europe. But
Zero.
I'm probably going to be just hanging out at home on Friday so I can still do this call. Ernest, do you have anything planned next weekend?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's plan to go ahead and keep meeting. I'm sure at some point the holidays will crash down upon us, but let's just keep going as long as we can.
Okay.
All right,
have fun
thank you
with
so
this.
Okay, Ernest. I mean, Ernie,
All right.
Tom.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great
Okay.
week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Pleasure.